Hello everyone, and welcome to Lucknow MuleSoft Meetup. The topic for our today's session is Excel data automation with MuleSoft RPA, and our speaker is Mr. Jitendra Bafna. I know everyone knows him. Okay, he do multiple things, and he has added few more things in his profile, which we will talk in his introduction. So, thank you, Jackie, for accepting the invite and coming over here. Thank you so
No
much.
problem. Thank you.
So before we start, some safe harbor statement. So both the speaker and host are organizing this meetup in individual capacity only. We are not representing our companies here. This presentation is strictly for learning purpose. Okay, we do not hold any responsibility that same solution will work for your business requirement. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities. Housekeeping. So as we are recording, we'll share the recording in the meetup page within 24 hours. You also have mic access. If you want to have any question, please feel free to unmute and ask. Also, you have got the access for chat. So please feel free to ask your question over there as well if you want. Once the meetup is done, you'll get a feedback form. So I'll request you to fill up that form and let us know how you like. What's your view regarding the meetup? What other topics you want? So any suggestions, any feedback is a bread and butter to us so that we can improve the experience for you all. Okay, so we'll look forward for your feedback. Regarding the organizers, so we are four organizers for Lucknow. So Akub, myself, Sham, and Gursimran. So I'm skipping the introduction part. I'm directly starting with Jackie. So Jackie, would you like to introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, let can I share my screen? If
Yeah, let me stop and you can share your screen.
okay, just let me know once you can see my screen.
Sure. Yeah, we can see.
Okay. So I'm a Jitendra Bafna. I'm working as a MuleSoft practice head at 3 Dimensions. I'm a MuleSoft ambassador, and I'm also leading two meetup groups, Surat and the Mumbai group. And I'm 12x Salesforce and MuleSoft certified, plus 10x super badges. I also recently authored one of the book called MuleSoft Platform Architecture Guide. I completed my Bachelor of Engineering in 2009 from Mumbai University. Then recently I completed my MBA in 2025 from NMIS University. And also in parallel, I completed my post graduation in artificial intelligence and machine learning from University of Texas at Austin. I have also completed one of the program from Indian Institute of Management, Indore, that in the digital transformation and the innovation. And I'm also pursuing my master of data science. It mostly completed will be completed in next 4 5 months, right? And recently I started with doctorate of business administration, and I think this will be the my last last degree I will be getting. Like after that I will not going to do anything. Yeah. Yeah, so that is all, like that is my introduction, right?
That's a mystery, Jackie. Like whether you're going to do or not.
Yeah. Like a lot of people ask me like how can you do all these things in the
Yeah,
parallel, like yeah, but
no,
anyway,
but
like I don't invest much time like in doing studying, but with God grace, like I able to clear my exam. I'm able to clear my project and assignment on the time.
no, but that's a great thing. Like doing so much thing, giving back to the community as well. So really appreciate your effort.
Yeah, initially, like why I'm going for the doctorate, there is some history behind that. So initially I tried to take the admission in MBBS, like I haven't got that admission right.
Okay,
So I want to get that DR title, right? So that's why I thought like let's take a DR title in some other
other way. Yeah.
other
So
field, right?
fulfilling your old ambition.
Yes, yes, yes.
Great, great, great. All the best, Jackie.
Thanks. Thanks, Abhishek. Thanks, everyone. I think I am talking for first time in the Lucknow, right? If I remember correctly. Before that, I never
No,
talked.
I think before once we have done it, but I need to
Yeah,
check. Yeah,
I think
great.
yes, we have done one. I think I don't know. I don't remember. Yeah, that's fine. So guys, welcome to like Lucknow MuleSoft Meetup. And like, let me talk about the agenda today. We will going to talk about robotic process automation. So there are a lot of things happening in the RPA. A lot of companies, lot of organization is using the RPA for doing the task automated, like no, so you can, like you may have a repetitive task, right? So those tasks can be automation. So one of the tasks related to Excel. So a lot of people do the data entry in the Excel, like from one Excel they extract the data and putting into the other Excel. While putting into the other Excel, there is some kind of manipulation required. So we're going to discuss how we can do those kind of manipulation in the Excel. What are the different options provided by MuleSoft RPA that can be used to manipulate your Excel, right? So we have various component provided by MuleSoft RPA tool. One is the Excel session, Excel control loop, read from Excel, write to Excel, and there are various other validation component like check value, select case, then combine string. And let's see, if time permits, we will do one like how we can record the session, right? Or record the whole process, and it can be automatically performed. Like, let if time permits, we will do that also. Okay. So let me start with Excel automation. So can let me ask question. Like, anybody is working on MuleSoft RPA, or anybody have done any project, or anybody have any idea on MuleSoft robotic process automation? Okay. So I will go. So as name suggests, robotic process automation. So robotic process automation means like doing some task automated, like so the task which performed by human, which may take some time, right? And there might be some boring tasks or repetitive tasks that human keep on doing, right? And like right. So with RPA, you can automate those tasks basically. So there can be many other things like you can RPA bot can interact with other systems, like it can interact with other application. It can, like it can extract the data from the PDF, it can read the images, it can extract the text from the images, right? And it can also able to manipulate the computer input faster and with more accuracy, right? It overall improve your accuracy, it overall improve your operational efficiency, right? And you, like the main one of the main advantage of like performing tasks with RPA, like whatever a manual task, whatever boring task, like that those can be automated. Like when I say boring task or some repetitive, like the people might be doing some data entry task, right? So maybe like putting the data somewhere, right? And like they want to extract that data and have to move it to some Excel or some other file, or may they have to return to some of the website, so maybe they have to fill the Google form with those data, right? So maybe for example, I'm getting like one Excel sheet which have a 20 30 records, or maybe 1,000 records, right? And the user may have to enter those data into the Google form, right? So like the user can, what user will do, it has to be done one by one by one, right? So and and there might be chances of errors also, right? With this RPA, those tasks can be also automated. So RPA can automatically read the data from Excel one by one and start filling into the Google form, like, and it also do the submit also, correct? So in simple term, like RPA is just a combination of robotic and automation to perform the repetitive task like data entry, extraction, report generation, downloading the report, uploading the reports to some sites, right? Maybe invoice processing using OCR, reading the PDF file, image processing, many other tasks. Yeah. So where human intervention is required. Any question? I heard some noise in between.
No, no, no question.
Okay. So what are the RPA use cases? So as we already discussed, so one of the widely used like one of the main use case for RPA is like automating the repetitive tasks or automating the some manual tasks where human intervention is required, right? Apart from that, so basically if you want to interact with some legacy system where we don't have a API, right? We have to go to log in into some systems, right? And we need to perform some XYZ tasks, like some data entry tasks, right, on the website. So you can go with the RPA basically, right? And if you want to extract or read data from PDF file or maybe from some other system, from some applications, so you can go with the RPA. And if you want to manipulate a computer input, so what like with a mouse and keyboard stroke, so basically it also capture the mouse and the keyboard stroke, like you are logging into some web page and you are entering the text using keyboard, right? And if you are like if you are stroking your mouse on some link, right? So it capture all this, and next time you can those tasks can be run automatically, right? Apart from that, it can do the employee like like onboarding or employee automated. So maybe like when we onboard the employee, right, we may have to fill lot of forms, right? The HR may have to fill lot of forms on the different site, right? So we can use this RPA, where like RPA automatically logging into different system, and it can fill the form, and it can do some kind of manipulations and those kind of thing. Yeah. And apart from that, also RPA has also capability. It can it can process the invoice, it can extract the data from the invoice, and it can, now we also heard about some, like MuleSoft has come up with something called intelligent document processing, right? So RPA have a capability. It also provide the component that can connect with your intelligent document processing to submit the document and retrieve the result out of that. It also have a capability of OCR, optical character recognition, which is AI enabled. So we have those component available. It also have a capability to extract, to read the complete PDF file. So all those kind of things is available in MuleSoft robotic process automation. Okay, so this is my RPA life cycle. So there are six phase in the RPA life cycle. So one of the first phase of the RPA life cycle is evaluate. So what does evaluate mean? So in evaluation phase, we generally see the return on investment, like whether we, if we are automating this particular manual task, right? Will will it be benefit to me, or like there will be no benefit, right? So we can do such kind of evaluation in the MuleSoft RPA. So MuleSoft RPA, ask for some kind of parameter, right? So like how many time it take to complete your manual task, it also have some parameter, like it can ask for the complexity of your RPA process, stability, what are the other. I will see that, right? So there are various parameter. So you just select those parameter. Depending on that, it will tell whether it's a beneficial to go with the RPA process, or like for this particular task or not. Like if your RPA, if your manual task is taking 2-3 minutes, right? So it doesn't make sense we go with this RPA, right? So if your task is taking lot of time and you are doing the task every day, right, and it has some complexity, right, so you can definitely go with RPA. Then second phase is design phase. So in design phase, you collect the requirement. Once the evaluation phase is approved, then we come to the design phase, where you collect the requirement, you understand the requirement, you create a documentation, you identify what are the components required to build this particular RPA bot, what are the efforts needed to build this particular RPA bot, right? Then we, and then we have something called RPA manager or RPA recorder. You can use it the design phase. You can also record some kind of activities, initial activities, right, in the design phase itself, right? If you see, for evaluate, we require the RPA manager. RPA manager is, I will going to explain what is the RPA manager. Then in design phase, we require RPA manager, the RPA recorder, both. And we have a build phase. So build phase, where actually we start with the implementation of the RPA bot. We start writing the codes, right? We start writing the process. We start designing, writing our workflows, right? So that is the, like, this is the third stage in the RPA life cycle. So here we require all the tool: RPA manager, RPA builder, RPA recorder. Then test. So once we have done the build, completed with build, we can use testing your RPA manager, or sorry, RPA bots. So we have tools require RPA manager and RPA bot configurator. So we have a tool called RPA configurator, where we can run the RPA bots. It's kind of server, or it's kind of, yeah, it's a server where you can deploy your RPA bot and you can test it. Then once testing is done, we can move it to the production. Again, for production, we require RPA manager and RPA bots. Then finally operate. So once we deploy to the production, we can operate. We can, we can look into we can see our RPA bot is running properly. We can monitor it, right? Is there any errors? Those kind of things. So these are the six RPA life cycle. These are the six phases of RPA life cycle. Any question?
No question so far.
Okay. So we have a four RPA development tool. The RPA manager. The RPA manager is the web-based tool, which is completely integrated with your AnyPoint platform. Okay, let I will show you. Right. So RPA manager is a kind of control plane. Right. It's a kind of control frame from where you can manage everything. And RPA manager is a tool you require at each step or each phase of your RPA life cycle. Then RPA builder. So RPA builder is nothing, it's a IDE, it's an integrated development environment, right? So where you can start developing your RPA bot, like AnyPoint Studio, right? Where you start writing, developing your API. Same thing with RPA builder. You can start building your bots. You can start developing your bots. RPA recorder. So it's again like RPA recorder is something like and like it record your web sessions basically. So whatever activities you are performing on your web application, like it record the keystrokes, it capture the username, the password, it records the mouse clicks, all those kind of things, right? It record all the clicks where we are doing the clicks, right? So those kind of things, it can be recorded by the RPA recorder. RPA bot configurator, it's a bot, it's a server, or it's an application where you can run your RPA bot. Once we have done the development, we can deploy your RPA bot in the on the RPA bot configurator, and you can test it. And once, like, if you want to move it to production, you can just change your RPA bot instance to the production basically, right? So these are the four tools we use for managing your RPA lifecycle, right? Correct? Yeah. Okay. So before I get into demo, I will show some tools to you. Okay, so this is how my RPA looks. This is how my RPA looks like. So, like, here you can see all your processes. So here, let's do one thing. Let's go with home. I will go with home. So here you can see what are the RPA processes you have, like, you are working basically. If I use this invoice processing using IDP, right, I click on this process, and this is my RPA manager, which is completely integrated to any point platform. So this is my BPM diagram, so business process model diagram, right? It use all the naming conventions related to BPM diagram. And here you can see the different phases: design, build, test, and the production. So right now I'm in the for this particular process, I'm in the build phase, right? So where I am developing my RPA bot, correct? And apart from that, let's do start with the first phase, which is eval. You cannot see the evaluation phase here. We can do the evaluation phase here. So see, evaluation phase is the optional. Sometimes you may not, you don't have to start with the evaluation. You directly create a new process with a design phase itself. You don't want to start with new. But in case if you want to do some calculation, if you want to see what are the benefits I can get it from building this particular RPA bot, so you can start with a new evaluation. Like, no, I will click on evaluation phase. I can just say test evaluation. Here you can select like default evaluation Excel template. You can select the, I will just go with default. And here you can see what category. I can just say demo, right? You can put some description here and just save. Okay, it's already exist, and I can just say Excel evaluation, save it. Okay, just I'm unsharing my screen. I put my credential. Just give me a second. Just give me a second.
Sure, Jackie.
Okay, yeah, I'm sharing the screen again. Okay, so here, like, you can put, like, now I come into the process evaluation phase, where you can put like how many time the manual process execution time, what is the cost per process run. So like that, I can just say $10. Frequency per month, I can say 10. You can put like how much time it take, I can say 0 2 hours, 0 2 30 00. So it take 2 hours 20 minutes. You can put the description here. You can see nature of work. So like if there are too many rules, I can just say rule based, and it's a judgment based. So I can just say rule based. So what kind, you can see the data, like whether it's a unstructured or whether it's a unstructured data, right? I can move it here, whether it's a unstable or new release or minimum. So those kind, if you want to exclude, you can exclude that also, right? And what are the data type? I will just say text and number, right? And stability, I can just say uh, unstable something. And you can select the output quality. So urgent need for improvements, so I can just say yes. Complexity, it's a complex, it's a medium complex. Risk, it's high. So here if you see, like, if you have benefits and qualifier, right? So if the benefits is higher, right? So maybe like it's on this side particular, right? So we have a higher benefits, right? Something if it's coming here, the dot is something coming here, right? So you have a lesser benefits, right? But it's coming on the side of 5, right? So you have a high benefits of creating this particular RPA bot, right? So you can, like, uh, depending on that you can select it, right? So I just say save. I done the evaluation, right? So now where is my Excel? Let me search it. It's not, maybe on third page. Yeah, it's here, and, like, you can edit this. Okay, I may not have a rights to approve it. Okay, so let me see how can I approve this. Okay, I have it, right. So now I'm good. I can approve this process. I can select myself as a, okay, it's not coming. Okay, you can put anything, like, I can put something like this, okay, I can put something, just say okay. It got approved. I click on approve state. If I can see my Excel in the approved state. 1 minute. Okay. Okay, so now I think, let me go to my processes. Okay, so that is not approved because I don't have a rights to approve. So, like, it generally goes who are the manager, right? So it goes for approval to them, basically. Okay, so here this is my process and it is approved. Why it's not showing here? Like, I have approved it. Okay, so it is showing as approved. You can see it here. Okay, it is showing as approved. Correct. Okay, so that is our first page. We always try to get what benefits we can get. We can get it from creating this particular RPA process. So that is where, like, and that later the it goes for the approval to your manager, or maybe the project sponsor. You can add that project sponsor or anyone. So they approved it, and once they approve it, we can move ahead with the design phase. That's the first step. Okay, so now what we will going to do, I will going to explain you. So what Excel manipulation I need to do. Let me go to home, my drive. I have a few files. Let me search it. Not okay. Okay, this is my first Excel file. So what is happening here? Like, see here, I'm just working with the 10 data. There are thousand of data, right, in actual Excel. So we get that. So what we have to do? So I want to concatenate this first name and the last name. I have to put it into the full name, basically, right? So that is what I have to do. So what I have to do, so I have to create a automated bot where I can concatenate, or I can combine a first name and the last name, and I can put it into the full name. So in Excel, what happened, it has to be iterate row by row, right? So we have a something called Excel control loop. So we can iterate row by row. Okay, second, when we working with the Excel, right, so we need to start a Excel session. So basically, you have to create an Excel session in the RPA bot. That Excel session can read and write to the Excel, right? Under that Excel session, we can loop through each and every row. So and we can concatenate first name and the last name. We can put it to the full name. Okay. So that is what the first demo all about. Let's do that. So for that, what I will do, I will again go back to RPA manager, like, and I can just say, okay. So if it's not opening, I can just say show. This is already approved. Okay, I can create a new process directly for now. Okay, so if you want to do the process cost or whatever, you can do it from here also, but I will just ignore this. I will create a demo Excel process. Okay, I can just give some permission. If you want to give an advanced permission like release, if he, this person can do release, if you want to add more member, you can do it from here. Okay. So apart from that, like I just put that this one you have to select the category. I will just go with the demo category, or you can also create a new category. You may, if you can create the category, like your particular RPA bot maybe belongs to some other business group, right? So you can just add it here. You can just say new category, right? So you can just group your RPA bot. Maybe these are the RPA bots belongs to one business group, other business group, or maybe one category, maybe second category, all those things, right? So once we done that, we save it, and then you can see start automating. So this is my second phase where I am designing, and here you can see it's showing a BPM diagram. And let's see, and this particular my RPA builder, this is the IDE where I can start building my RPA bots. And let me refresh. Once I refresh, is whatever bot I've created, I can see it here. And my this particular RPA builder is already connected to the RPA instance, like this particular RPA instance basically, right? But I cannot see whatever the new bot I have created, because it's still in the design phase. To see it in your RPA builder, I have to move to the build phase. So I simply move it to the build phase, right? Let me refresh now if I can see it here. Now I can see the demo Excel process. I can double click here. Let me close this. So here you can see your BPM diagram, but still I can see the error. First I will name this particular, this is the bot task. Okay, so you can see this is the bot task, and here I can say demo use case 1. But still I can see the error because I have to put the end activity. I put it. Okay. Okay, now you can double click here, and you can start defining your RPA components here. And we have a toolbox here. In this toolbox you can find all the component which is supported by this RPA builder basically, or MuleSoft RPA. Okay, now as I mentioned, what we have to do. So I will place the file in folder. So there can be multiple files, there can be one file. I will place all this file here, and whenever the RPA bot will run, it will pick the Excel file from here. It will do the manipulation in the same file. Okay, so that is what we will going to do. So there can be multiple files, so I have to iterate through each and every file, right? And I just want to make sure like the first name and the last name is concatenate. And so that is what we will going to do. So for that, the first thing I require, iterate over the files. So I want to iterate over this particular folder. So here I have to provide the directory path and the file name. So what I will do, I will define a activity parameter. So this is nothing, this is a configurable parameter. So I can just copy this path, and I can click on add new parameters. So we have a multiple parameters: add alphanumeric, add integer, add floating point, boolean, array. So there are like even credential, account, user account variable. So let me add alphanumeric variable. I will just say use case 1 path. You can provide the description if needed. Use case 1 path in control V. Okay, that's the one thing. And now what I can do, and I want to use this particular parameter in this task, right? So what I have to do, so here at the top you can see activity parameter, pattern gallery, settings. So you click on activity parameter and add this parameter like what we have just created, right, in this. And I want to use this parameter in this workflow, so I just have to add it. Okay, now I go here and I will just say iterate over use case 1 Excel. You have to provide a directory path. This time my directory path is defined in the activity parameter. I will click on this pin and I will just say use case 1 path, and it read all. I can just use the regular expression. For now I will just put start.start, read any files. Okay, use regular expression, you can definitely use that. Do you want to throw error if there is a no file found? I don't want to throw. Like if file doesn't find found, bot should not do anything. Simple. If you want to also loop to the subfolder inside that particular folder, I and just find the file. I don't want to do that. Just iterate over the main folder. That's it. Just say okay. Now I have done this. Now I have to work with the Excel file. As I mentioned, to work with the Excel file, you have to start with the Excel session. So there is a component called Excel session. Drag and drop into the iterate right? And here we have an operation mode: read only, read and write to same file, read from source file, and write to different file. So these are the three options, right? So read only. So if I click read only, so this particular Excel session can read only data from the Excel file. It cannot write anything to the Excel file. Read and write to same file. So file, and we can write into the same file, right? That is what this option says. Read from source file and write to the different file. So here we can read from one file, and we can extract the data from one file, and we can write to the another Excel file. But in our case, we will go with the second option, where we have to read the file into the same file in the full name column, right? So here we have to provide some paths. So directory path. So from where I can get the directory path. So it will be iterate, right? So iterate directory path. So iterate have that particular path that I want it. But let me do one thing here. I will hard code it for now, because for development perspective, we need to provide some kind of sample file or sample path, right? So it can read it. So I will use sample path. But when I will deploy my RPA bot, when I will test my RPA bot, when I will run my RPA bot, I will say use the different paths. So here I can just say you take that path from the iterate, right? Now again file name. So I can provide a file name. Okay, but when I will run my workflow, use the different path. So this is the iterate file name. The create Excel if doesn't exist, just forget about that, right? And Excel is password protected. You can put the password also. Okay, it's a simple configuration. I can just say use case 1 Excel session. Just say okay. I've done that. Now the second thing, let me go to my Excel file. Now I want to iterate. I want to ignore the first column, which is the header, and I have to iterate through each and every row, and I have to concatenate first name and the last name. I have to put it the full name. So what I mentioned, we can use the Excel control loop. So we have an Excel control loop, drag and drop here. So as I mentioned, like, I took some sample path, right, for development perspective here, hard coded path, directory path. Why? Because if you don't take it, I cannot see my metadata here. Now you can see the seat name which is available in this file, right? Seat one. So you can see this particular file seat one, right? If I don't do that, right, I will not able to generate the metadata. So I want to do that. It has header. Yes, it has header. Read the entire sheet. Yes, I can say read the entire sheet, and up to where I have to read, right? Or I can see, I can say, something like that. Start from row and column A, something like that. You can do that also. But for me, I will just use read entire sheet, and on reaching the empty row, I will select this option. So whenever I reach to empty row, just terminate my loop. Okay. So here I'm just saying, and number of consecutive empty row, I will just say one. Now you can do the preview also. Once you do the preview, you can see like serial number, right? If I don't say has header, right? Preview. So the serial number and first name, and it will be also considered as the data, right? So I will just say header, and I will just preview. So you can see what is the data type. You can change the data type, like, in string or integer if you want to do that. For now, it's okay. You can see first name, last name, and the full name. So this is the column which I need to fill. Just say okay. Now for filling this, I also require the counter. So every time I update, like, no, I every time, like, every time I loop, I need to update the counter. So what I will do, I will create an activity parameter. So I will just say integer value variable. I can just say use case one counter, and let me see. I can start counter with 2, because I don't want to do anything in the first row, right? I have to start with the second row. So I will just say counter 2. Okay, this is use case one counter. Just say okay. correct. And now I will add into the activity parameter. I want to use it here. Okay. Now I want, see, before I adding, I need to concatenate this both, right? So I will use the combine string. So there is a component called combine string, right? And so here I have to do some replace. So I will use the placeholder. Why I'm saying this? So here I will just say one is my first name space, this curly bracket 2 is my last name, and I can just say combine first name and last name. Okay, so I'm combining it. Now I have to replace this 1 and 2 with something, right? So I can say curly bracket 1 replaced by, so you generally click on this pin, and now I have to replace 1 has to be replaced by first name and 2 has to be replaced by last name. Okay, so that's it. Now I can use write to Excel file, right? I can just say write full name to Excel. Okay, and I can use sheet 1 only. If add, if sheet doesn't exist, and I have to provide the cell. So what is the cell? It's a D, right? I can change it to D. I can define value as a text and counter. So every time I have to increment the counter, so I can use this use case on counter. And text to write, it's a combined string which we have done it, right? So combined string, and override the contained text. Select those things for the safety purpose. In case if there's some data is already there, it will throw the error. So just always do that. Okay. Now I have to update my counter also. So counter start from row 2, right? Then I have 3, 4, 5 this. So I use the math operation, right? In math operation, I can just say curly bracket a plus 1. I have to replace a with a counter, new counter basically, right? And here I can say increment use case 1 counter, and I want an integer value, and I can test it. Right now it will consider a as a 0 and expression result 1. Now I have to replace a, so I have to replace a with a use case 1 counter. Okay, now whatever counter I have, it get incremented, I have to again set to the increment counter variable. So for that I can use the set variable. Okay, set use case 1 counter. So this is the variable use case 1, and I have to replace with a math operation output, result as a int. Okay, so this is what we have done. So now what I will do, I will place a file in the folder. Okay, and we can run it from, either you can do it from here, or you can, if you want to run all the tasks together, you can do it from here. But I want to just have a one task only, right? Bot task, so I can do it from here. Let's see. Okay, it's completed, and okay, it got updated at 11:44. Let me do one thing. Let me go to my drive. Let me upload a file here. File upload, because I don't have a Excel on my local. It is generated here. So you can see the full name, right? It has been added basically. 1 2 3 4 5, like you can see all, like full name is column has been updated, like with the combined first name and the last name. Okay, so we'll go with the next demo also. So let me show the next demo file, which is more complicated. So basically in next demo, what we have to do, right? We have to concatenate first name and the last name, and we have to put it to the full name. Secondly, I want to separate out the data. I want to separate out data in multiple tabs. If salary is greater or equal to 50,000, I have to place in the one tab. If salary is less than 50,000, I have to place the data in one tab. So that is what I need to do. Okay. So we're going to see any question like on the first use case, anything like.
Yeah, we have questions from Edward.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question he asked is, this evaluation is highly subjected. Is there any LLM to analyze text input in order to evaluate benefits?
No, right now it's not nothing to do with LLM here in the RPA, right? So we don't have like a large language model supported right now.
Okay. Thank you for that. Another question is, do you think KeyPass is suitable for hiding password during webinars?
Can you repeat?
Do you think KeyPass is suitable for hiding passwords
Yeah, you
during
can do that.
webinars?
Yeah, you can do that. Yeah, but
Okay.
I don't have a key pass right now, so
Okay.
that's why I answered the screen and put the password. Yeah, you
Okay.
are correct. We can do that. Yeah.
Next is, do you think that putting space in the path is safe?
Yeah, it's safe, right? Where I no see it's just a demo. Don't take it seriously, right? It's just a demo, right? So it's just for demo. I just use case one. I haven't put the, but you definitely like you can use this particular name without spaces also.
Without
This
spaces.
is just a demo. Like I am not developing a bot which is a production level. It is for the demo perspective.
Okay, the last question from Edward is, do you think that it will correctly place older Excel format with new Excel extension? The same question, if it was a CSV file with Excel extension, it can be often a real situation.
Okay, I haven't got this question.
Yeah, Edward, would you like to unmute and discuss this one? What do you mean by this extension part?
Uh, how do you? Well, that's a question regarding the older version of Excel, and if you can process older version of Excel files, because if you change the extension and put the new extension of recent Excel, it will be processed by human, but I don't know whether it will be
Yeah,
processed
I think
by RPA.
it will be support, okay, with the older extension also. It support XLS, it support XLSX format, it support it support those formats basically. Okay, it support the older version of format also.
Very good.
Yeah.
Uh, One last question that is from Srikant. Can we run the project in debug mode to see the process line by line?
See here, debug workflow. You can do that. Okay, it's there.
Okay, that's all for use case one, Jackie.
Okay, cool. We have it. Okay, we can do the debug and everything. Also we have various logs you can enter, so like write logs, and even you can put the message boxes. For example, I will show you something. Message box is there, and I want to see what combine string every time it puts, right? So I can put it where it is combined. Yeah, I can put it here. I can just say full name. I can give some title, name, some title, and I can just say show me the combined string. Okay, let me run this process. So it will say like, we can do that. We can debug also sometime, like, if we get some error, right, and you want to see what data it is processing, like we have some, like we have a components called message box, like write logs, write bot logs. So there are various components also available to debug the flows. Yeah, debug is there, but in case like if you want to do that, right, with putting some message boxes and all this thing, we can do that. Okay, so let me quickly start with the next bot. It first bot took a lot of time. Okay, so let me start. So here I will add one more bot task where I will perform the use case too. So I will just drag and wait, what happened to this? Here I can place it. I can give the name demo use case 2. Okay, so we can do that. So now I will double click here. I will define a path for use case 2 also. I will add more activity parameter. Uh, use case 2 path. I can copy it. I can paste it. You can just say use case 2 path. Add what is integer. I can add two counter, patient counter, right? And I can just say patient counter, not patient, like I can give some better name. uh, okay, I can just say use case to counter 1, and let me see, the counter value has to be start from where. For now I just keep 0, later I can change it. Use case 1 counter 2. I will just skip the description for now. Okay, so I can just say okay. So let's start. So this time I will use with a manage activity. So we have some component called managed also. So manage is a better, like, you can write all your activities here in case any error comes. So you can say what we have to do and do always. It's kind of finally blocked. So even irrespective of error, right? Whatever error comes, I have to perform this task. So you can put it into a do always. Okay. So as I mentioned, I will just use the iterate again, iterate over files. I will just configure. I will just store, not give these names. So for best practice, always make sure you are giving the name. And okay, I haven't added any activity parameter here, right? The first thing I have to add the activity parameter, use case 2, use case 2. Okay. So I double click here, give a directory path, use case 2 path, and yeah, I can just use star dot star. Okay. Again, I will use the Excel session. I have to forget to give one more path. I have to create a file in the destination folder. So I can just say use case to destination path. Okay. So this is my destination folder. I can copy this, can define here. Okay. So I create a, I will add this here also in activity parameter. Here I have Excel session. This time I will read from source and write to the different file. Just click it here. Okay. So that is what you can do. And again, I will just hard code the this path, sample path, for the development perspective. But we will use the different path during the execution. That is the use case 2 path. Same thing goes with a file. I will hard code it this file name. Okay, so I will show you, like, you mentioning like what are the different format it support. I will show that also. So here I have to give a destination directory path, right? So my destination directory path will be again this activity parameter, and I can keep the same file name which we get it from the iterate over the file, iterate file name. Okay, so let me say okay, what see. So see, it support XLS, XLS format, XLSB, XLSM. All this format is supported. Okay, and I can just put XLSX and use the different file during the runtime execution. And I will just take the file name from the iterate file name. And I have one property I cannot see there. There's just some resolution issue. I cannot minimize it. So, but we can do it from other place. So I will just say okay and click here and just say workflow. So I want to create a, like, in case the destination file is not available, you can create that. So just checkbox this. Otherwise, it will throw error. So it is expect, if we don't checkbox this tick, it is expecting that particular Excel file at a destination. But I can just say you can create that file if it's not available. Okay, cool. So we have done this. Now again, I will take a Excel session, Excel control loop. Cool. Let's see sheet 1, right, has a header. I can just say preview, right? I got all this data. All right. So we have first name, last name, full name, salary, all this data. Correct. Or even you can select on row. If I see one empty row, just preview. It's the same thing. If you want to change data type, you can do it. If you don't want to change it, it's fine. So for me, like, salary is an integer. Serial number, I am not using it. First name and last name, and full name are a string, which is okay. Just say okay. Any question on this? No, right? Okay. First thing, as always, I will combine first name and the last name. 1 and 2. I have to replace a combined string with the first name, the 2 with the last name. Okay, now we want to check the integer, like we want to check that value, right? Whether it's greater than or equal to 50,000 or less than. So I will check here, right? In check, you click on this pin, and what will be the value one? This is nothing. This is my salary. So there is, I want to like check my salary, right? Here I can just say compare numeric, and if I just say salary is greater than equal to 50,000. Okay, this is a check I'm doing here, and once then I have to just select if and else, right? So I can just drag and drop select here. In select, I will just compare with whether it's whether the condition match greater than equal to 50, then it should be the boolean, like it should return true, else it should return false. Double click here, just change this to the boolean and just say true. So it will say two things, and one thing, just change this error handling to none. What happen if you don't do that? If you keep the error handling null, in case one condition doesn't match, right, it will throw the error. But I don't want to do this, so you just change it to none. Okay, and always make sure, like in else state, you always put a force okay state. Okay, so now next thing, we have to write to the Excel. What are the things we need to write to the Excel? Okay, and again I have to change this activity parameter to 2, because first column will be the header, right? The first row will be the header, and we have to start with the second counter, right? Just say 2. Just say 2. Okay, but what I can do, one thing, like before control loop, I will just put okay, so I will just put the full name and the salary. So I will make some column, write to the Excel file before no, not here. I want to put the header in the Excel, right? So I'm creating the headers. So write to the Excel file before control loop. Write to the Excel file. So we will have a two tab. One with a salary less than 50,000, and one is salary is greater than 50,000. So here I will create a tab greater than or equal 50,000. This is my first tab. Okay, and I just write A in the first row. What I have to write? Full name. Add seat, if doesn't exist, overwrite. Okay, so that's what I have to do. I will copy this seat name. I will require it. Again, I will paste the same seat name in column B. Right, I have to write a salary as a header. I will overwrite the content, a text, and it's 1. Now I have to write it a second tab also, right? I will just put the header here. Right here, I can say less than 50,000. Again, in column A, full name, and it's a different tab or different seat. Copy this. Okay, put it here, seat name. In the B column, I will write a salary. Okay, we have done this. Now we will start writing the data. Again, write to the Excel file. Write to the Excel file. Right. In the first column, let me copy this my seat name again. Make sure the seat name doesn't change. Otherwise, it will write into some other seat. In the A column, the counter must be use case 2 counter. In A column, I want to write text called combine string, the full name, right? Overwrite. Add seat if doesn't exist. Right, I will paste it here in B column, and I will just say use case 2 counter, and here I want to write a salary. So from where I can take the salary? From this particular row, salary. Overwrite the content. Okay, now I want to increment my use case 1 counter also. Correct, that is very important. Math operation, I can just say A plus 1, just calculate as an integer value, test it. Okay, just I want to replace this particular A with a use case 2 counter 1. Now I want to assign the new value to the use case 2 counter 1. Set variable, I can just say use to counter one, and new value is the math operation. Result as a int. Okay. Okay. I have done at a wrong place. Just drag and drop here. Okay. Now in else, what I have to do? Write to Excel file again. Drag and drop to. Let me copy this less than one. Okay. Less than. Add in the A column. I will take a use case to counter now, because there are two different counter, one for one seat, one for other seat. If I keep one counter, right, so it may add some spaces row, right, in between. So I want to say I have to have a two different counter. So less than 50 A column, I took the use case to, I have to took a combined string, right? So I take that and I will just put the overwrite. Copy this again, go back to next set, just say B, just the counter. The row counter is nothing, this is the row number, and it will be the use case to counter 2, and I have to write a salary from the loop, right, to contain. Okay, now I will copy these two parameters. Okay, what happened? Okay, something, let me see what I have done. Okay, use case 2 counter 1 is okay, this is all okay. Okay, I just lost the value from here. Okay, so let me take another math operation in the end, math operation, then set variable. I can just say curly bracket a plus 1, calculate, test it. Okay, just assign replacement value for the a, this time activity parameter use case 2 counter. Just set to variable, I want to set new value to counter 2, and it should be the math operation result as a int. Okay, so what we have done, so here if you see 4 excel, like where 4 write to excel, where we are just adding the header into different sheets, then we are looping through each and every sheet, each and every row, right, and where we are combining string, first name and last name. We are checking the value whether the salary is greater than equal to 50,000. If it's true, then we are just writing to the sheet whichever greater than equal to 50,000, and to the seat greater than equal to both full name and the salary. And if it's not matching, then if match, and also we are incrementing your counter 1 here. If it's match here, then we are incrementing the counter 2, and we are writing into the less than 50,000. Let me save this. Okay, let me place a file, use case 2 sample. Okay, there's a nothing in destination. Let's see whether it works. It quickly done the task, it created the file. Okay, so let me go back to my drive and check it. Okay, I can delete this use case 2 file already there. Let me upload. So it created the file in destination folder. Here you can see greater than equal to, so all salary, I put the, just ignore this. Okay, I may put the wrong spelling there. Full name, all the salary greater than has been into one tab, all the salary less than into the one tab. Basically you can see it here, right, less than 50,000 in one tab and greater than equal to 50,000 in one tab. Yeah, let me correct that salary here. Yeah, so this is the column. Any question? So here,
No question so far.
here you see check value, just make sure this error handling is none, otherwise it will stop and throw the error if you keep it as a normal. Oh, okay, great. And so guys, like you any question, like if you like or are you liking this demo? Okay, great. So let me go. Okay, okay, let we can we have a like macros also basically. So if you see there's a macro activities available. So you can run the macros also, execute the Excel macros. Those kind of things is also available. Okay, so let me do third demo, which is more interesting, where we will use the regular expressions. So I want to segregate a practitioner detail and the patient details into two different tabs. But here I how I can identify the where from where the patient detail is starting and from the where the practitioner detail is starting, right? So I want to segregate. So I want to segregate into two different files, two different tabs or two different sheets, right? How can we do that? Okay, so I will show you, and I have to move this, into some different sheet. Okay, I will how we will do it. I will show you. Let me drag and drop a third task here. Okay, I can name this as a demo use case 3. Good. Okay, and here in manage, like, if like do action, I forget to tell you one thing. So on error, so basically on error, what you can do, write previous only, write logs. So what logs we want to write, so you can just say settings error out. Okay, write error log. And what do always, right? So in do always, I can reset some of the variables, right? For example, set variable, set variable. Just I can just say reset or clean and reset basically variables. For example, like, for activity parameter use case counter 2, I can reset to 2. Those kind of thing, like, you can perform. Okay, just so do always means like it's a finally block. Let me start with use case. I will not use manage now. I will directly start with first with this defining activity parameter. So alphanumeric again, I can just say use case 3 path. Copy this, remove this destination, and then I can put 3 use case 3 destination path tab. Okay, this is my use case 3 destination path. I need a 2 counter. One is patient counter and one is practitioner counter, right? So I can reuse whatever I define in use case too, but for demo perspective, I am using this. You can reset and you can reuse. Okay, where is my counter? Yeah, patient counter. Let's see. I don't know. I think I should start with 2 only, because the first is always header. Then practitioner counter. Okay, this is wrong variable I define. Abhishek, we have a time, right?
Yeah, we have time.
Okay. Okay, so these are the 4 variable. I've defined it again. Activity parameter. I want to use in this flow, so I can click on activity parameters and I can just say use case 3 path, patient, practitioner counter. Just edit here. If you want to write those variables into logs also, you can just check box here. That's it. Now, as I again, we will start with iterate activity. Okay. In iterate activity, I will give a use case 3 path. Okay, simple. Again, I will use the Excel session. This time read and from one file and write to different file. I will, as I mentioned, for development perspective, we will use the hard coded path, so we can read out the sample, but use the different path when you run the workflow. So iterate over the path. Then you need to give a file name. I can use this particular file name. .xls. Use different file name during the workflow. Okay, so this is my file name. Now you need to provide a destination let me do one thing. Just a minute, I just can. Okay, so here you can see there's an option create. It's not visible here. I need to decrease the resolution. So last time we have checked from here, right? Now we can check it from here also. So destination path, it I've already defined a destination path, and file name should be same as the source file name. Iterate over the file, and that is the file name. That's it, right? Just say okay. Simple. Now I will go with the Excel control loop. Before that, I want to add the headers, right? So what I can do, I can just say write to Excel file, write to Excel file. So here I can just say practitioner tab, practitioner details, column A, add if seat doesn't exist, and what we need to add, let me see, name and age. Okay, so I can just put name, row A. Okay, just say okay. Just copy this practitioner name. I just forget to copy. In B column, at a row 1, I have to write age, overwrite. Okay, next thing, I will use the Excel control loop. Now what I can do, how I can start. So I will just say start reading when condition match. So I can use the regex here. I can put this, and let me copy this practitioner details here, paste it, and I can put dollar. So saying it start with practitioner detail, it can end with anything, right? So dollar. Here I can let's see seat 1, and when we on reaching one empty row. So if you see that my Excel, we have an empty row between patient and this, right? We can stop here. In case if we don't have an empty row, what I would have done on regex match set value, I can just put a patient detail. You terminate my loop here whenever I see this patient detail. So I would have done this basically if there is a no empty row. But I can found one empty row, so I can put the terminate on reaching empty row at minimum one row. So that is where I can terminate my loop. I can just say preview, right? And as a header, it doesn't take this. So we will see how we can work this out. Okay, so that's how we can do. This is seat 1. Okay, and even we don't want to put this header, we already have these headers basically. We don't want to do that also. So it's showing in the column itself, right? The column is already showing here, so I can ignore that. I will show you. So here I just want to make sure I ignore this first row. We don't have an option where I can select the ignore first row, but while putting the data into Excel, I just want to ignore this. Okay, so let me delete this too. I don't require, because I can see it in preview. It is already taking it, the name and the first name. Okay, and apart from that, I will go to activity parameter. I will reset this counter to 1, because I have to write from the row number 1. Okay, check value. Again, I will use the check value. What I will do in check value, I'll compare alphanumeric case insensitive, and I can just say if my column 1 having the value practitioner details, right, is equals to practitioner details. Okay, then, or I can just say not equal to. Now I can use a select case. In select case, again I will just check for true and false, compare result. Okay, here I can just say boolean, true condition match, false condition doesn't match. If it is false, you can just force OK state. Don't forget to change this as a none. Now all good. I can just say write to Excel file, and I will use the column called practitioner details in column A, and the patient count practitioner counter. What value I need to write? A column 1 value. Overwrite, adds it. Let me copy this, write to Excel file, copy this, column B, row practitioner counter, text, what is the value? From iterate, I have to take a column 2. Overwrite, adds it. Okay. Now next thing, increment the counter. So I will use the math operations. Just say curly bracket a plus 1, calculate the expression. Okay. Just activity parameter practitioner counter. Now set variable. Okay. In set variable, I can go to practitioner counter. I can associate it this math operation result. Okay. So this is the first part. Now I have to use one more Excel control where I can get retrieve the detail for patient, right? So I can use another Excel control loop. In this, again, I will take a sheet one, right? And it has to be start reading from this start from. Let me copy this patient details dollar and end on reaching the empty row one preview. So we can preview, we get this all this information. We just want to skip this patient details again. Okay. Check details, check value. Let me copy great check value. I can just say alphanumeric and second Excel control loop column 1 is equal to patient detail. I will just say not equal to patient detail. Then select case. I forget one thing, none. Okay, cancel it. First click on pin and give the check value output. Then type equals to boolean. Yes. If it's true, else force OK state. Okay, I will write to Excel file, write to Excel file. Here I can just say patient details, add row if doesn't exist, patient counter, right? And take the value from column 1, overwrite. Then again, patient details, add set, B. Then I can take this counter again. From here, overwrite. Okay. What is the next thing? Increment the patient counter. Okay, then write back, set the variable again. Set variable, it is set variable. I can set the patient counter with this match operation output. We are set, right? So here we have used the two Excel control loop for segregating the information or for separating the patient and the practitioner detail. And here we have make use of the regular expression also. So if you have a like very unstructured data, right, you can definitely make use of this regular expression here. Let me copy third sheet, paste it here. Let's see if destination folder is empty. Let me run the process. It run. It create a file in destination folder. And let me delete file 3 from here. Let me upload the new file. So here you can see all the practitioner detail with name and the age, right? And all the patient detail with name and the age, right? So it able to segregate the information into two different tabs. Correct. Okay, any question? So I completed with 3 demo. So I will going to show, let's see if we type permits I can show one recorder demo. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, Jackie.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, so what I will do, I will go through one more demonstration where I can do the recording of one of the instance. So basically, so I will just show like I want to enroll for some course. Basically, I have one test website. So where this is my test website, right? So it's just a test website basically. Okay, so I want to test this. Okay, so let me do one thing. Other thing, I forget to tell you one thing. Like so that is also very important thing. So lot of tabs are open. See here, I refresh this, right? Here I cannot, whatever I developed, I cannot see it here. I want to post whatever changes I've done on the my local, right? So I just click on this particular arrow, just say developed 3 Excel use cases, upload. So you can see it has been uploaded. You can see. So once you are good, right, and you can publish it to test, basically, right? You can create a new test plan and you can select the bot, right? So right now I don't have any bot, seems like. Okay, so I can create a test plan. Yeah, demo Excel test plan. That's it. Next, these are the some variable. If you want to use some different path or anything, right, you can do that. If you can associate it with the global variables also, there are some common path which use across the multiple bots, right? You can define a global activity parameter and you can link it from here. Basically it's simple. Now I can just say next. Next, here you can just select the user. So make sure like what, so generally what happens when bot run, it automatically log in, it create a rdp session and it start running your bot. And the second option, you, it also create a secure session. So whatever it does, right, it will be not visible to anyone. So it, you can run, you can either use the default user which is configure on your bot configurator. So we have a rpa bot configurator also. So let me open this. If it's open, so this is my RPA bot configure where you can run it basically, right? So here I put some normal user. So either you can run with this particular user, or you can define a different user also. So like generally what happen in, if you want to run multiple bots in parallel, right, I will suggest use the different user for each bot. Because like right, with on the Windows server, if you try to log in with the same user from multiple places, it will like, it will not allow that, right? It will not allow that. So generally use the separate user. Correct, that is what we can do. Then next, so here it will show. Okay. Oh, something. Okay, okay, that's fine. Let me unshare my screen. Give me 2 minutes. Sorry again. Okay, resharing my screen. So what I was doing, yeah. So I can just put a test evaluation text Excel plan, something like this. You can change the path. You can global link, which I just explained. Just say next, next, and here you can select the bot. So I have one bot. I can select that. Finish. On which bot you have to run. Finish. Simple. And now once you have done the testing, you can publish it to the production. Release to the production. So now what happened? Like now it's released to the production basically, right? Then you can select like you can schedule the configuration. You can create the API for that, or you can also run on demand basically. So when if you use the invocable run configuration, right, so it will publish the as asset into any point exchange, and you get a API path for running this particular bot, right? So that is what you can do. Okay. So yeah, let me refresh this. Okay, sometime it's go a bit slow. So you can select your actions basically, right? So here, and then finally once you're done, you can deploy your process. Okay, so I will just bring back to my build phase. So it's very easy to manage your life cycle from UI itself. Okay, I will just back to build. Okay, so let's do one more thing. Like it will take 10-12 minutes, but it will be interesting. So how we can record the task. Okay, so I will go to RPA. I can just say my processes. I can just say new process. Again, I can create a web, or I can just say course enrollment test bot. It's the same. You can add more member. I will just say design, build, test, production. You can give advanced permissions. You can select the category, demo, just save it, start automating. Just okay. So now from here I can start my recorder. Okay, so before that, let me do one thing. Copy this URL, close all the tabs. Okay, that's fine. So what I can minimize this, and I can click on recorder. Yes, open recorder. It should not take that much of the time. Let's wait. Till now, I can take any question. Do you have any question? Anybody have any question? No, what you need to install, like what server you need to have a server, right? And where you need to install. No, it will run as a different session. Okay, not separate Hyper-V virtual machine. It will be you can run the multiple secure session with the different users. Some internet connectivity seems like. Let's see. It's wait. It will open. Let me retry. Let's wait. I don't know why it's taking so much time. No, no, they. I don't think it support MFA right now. Yeah, Abhishek, still you can hear me, right?
Yep.
So can you see my screen? Not yet, right?
Sorry, come again?
Can you even see? Cannot see my screen, right? I think.
No, 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 no.
Let me. Why this RPA recorder is not connecting? Okay, cool. It connected finally. So let me put the credentials. So I will reshare the screen. Okay, I just put my credential, and now, like, let me do one thing. I will hide this. Let me copy this path. Okay, so now what I will do, I will start recording the session. Okay, so I click on this button. I will give first login to test site, and it will be web task. Add. I just put this URL. Okay, okay, okay. So now you can just add more activity, or you can directly use the username and the password directly here. So I can just say student. Okay, I am just saying password 123 and submit. It's logged in successfully, and now I can click on plus sign. I can just say web task. I can just say navigate to the courses and use the existing web session. Edit and click on courses. Then I can add one more site. I can just say web task, select Selenium web driver, right? And you can clear, just add, and I can click it here. Okay. Yes, I can just say web task, start 7-day trial. Okay, that's it. I will not provide the information. I will just stop this particular recording. It will generate the automatically process for you. You can edit this, you can upload to the RPA manager. Okay, now let me go back to my, let me refresh it. You can, I can publish to build phase and I can test it on my RPA builder. So for to see this particular process in RPA builder, you move it to the build phase. Okay, you can see the error, which is okay. You can see the error, which I ignore that, and I can go here in repo, click it here. Course enrollment bot. Yes. We got that bot, but I want to do one change. Like I have hard coded my username and the password, right? I don't want to do this. So what I can do, I can add, go to activity parameter. I can just say add user account variable. I can say a site credentials. What was the username? It was student, right? And password 123. Just add this, and like where you put the password, you navigate, click on wave element. Okay, keystroke wave element. Yeah, here you put the password. So what I can do, I can have something called user decryptor activity. User decryptor activity I can put at the top. Okay, and I want this particular here. In user decryptor activity, I can just put this activity parameter site credentials. That's it. And let's see where I put it. Not this here. Keystroke to element. Here I put the student, right? Instead of that, I can select username and wave element 2, which is my password. I can select from the user account decryptor. Just save it. Let's run it from here. Let's see what happens. It is login to test site. Let's see if we can able to see it here. So it is automatically doing it. So it put the login successfully. Taking some time here. Let's see. Why it's not going. Okay, so like I know what happened. So like let me do one thing. Hello, still you can hear me, right? Okay, the mistake I have done, like, some mistake happen here. What is happening here? Okay, I got it. I have to remove this. Let's see. Because I click it submit for the two time, I think. That's why, because you need to be make sure like you don't do the double. Yeah, now it come here. It go to home. Now it will select the Selenium driver. Now it will go to the start 7 days trial. Okay, again I think I double click here, so that's why it may cause the problem. So you have to make sure like when you are doing the clicking and all those things, right, you have to be careful. But that's fine. I can remove the from the code. So if you have idea on the code also, like how we have to do, right, XPath and all this thing, you can easily do it from code also. Okay, so let me do one thing. I will stop this flow from here, exit. Let me check my code. Okay, so let me go to last site. I know what's the problem. It was the single click. You can see it capture also. I don't know why it's not able to click it. Let me rerun it. It should do that. No, I've done it. Like, just a minute. So you have to be very careful while recording, like even your mouse, and even make sure like, so where you are doing the recording, like, your resolution should not also change. Basically it's very important. Like for example, you are doing like you are doing the recording on your local, and you have a different resolution here and a different resolution on the both server, it will not work. So make sure the resolution are the same at the both the end. Okay, so let me rerun it. So resolution is also important here. Okay, I think I forget something to checkbox. That's wave session. That might be the one of the problem. Okay, so just ignore this. I think you got the idea, like how to do the recording and all this thing, right? So I will not going to do the recording again. So recording may like it have some challenge. Sometimes you may have to do for multiple times to achieve the proper result, but which is fine. Like you got the idea how we can do the recording, like using this RPA tool. Yeah, Abhishek, these are the only the demo I just want to showcase. And thanks everybody for your patience, like and listening me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.